Hey guys, it's Wolf, and I haven't done a personal vlog video in quite some time, so I might as well use this time to ask you guys what you thought about this past PBA season from 2010 till the beginning of 2011. And personally, I think that it's getting they're getting kind of desperate in terms of the whole situation that's going on with PBA. Because they had a pretty good season. There were a few shows that I watched that I was really into, like the Tournament of Champions, the U.S. Open. The Dick Weber playoffs was actually pretty good as well, but I have to admit, the tape shows, I honestly could not get into those because the way I see it, it was so unenthusiastic the way the crowd was involved with those tape shows at the beginning of the season that it just got so bad to the point that I really don't think I could have watched it anymore. I know that when I first started watching the PBA many years ago, that I was always into the shows. They always brought out the excitement, big crowds, really enthusiastic. But now it's just getting to the point that there's hardly anyone watching these events, especially at the tape shows. There's no one at the tape shows anymore, it seems. The live events aren't bad, but I know that the tape shows doesn't seem to have anyone there, especially if you watch the World Series of Bowling, the Cheetah Championship, or any of those oil pattern championships that they had at the beginning of the season, and you'll see what I mean. But going back in the 90s, I know that the PBA was everything. They had big crowds, lots of great enthusiasm from the bowlers and the crowd itself. Especially great announcers too. I know that Rob Stone and Randy Peterson, I have to give Rob Stone credit. He has done as much as he can to try to bring up the sport in popularity, at least compared to Dave Ryan. But I don't think anyone will ever beat Chris Schenkel and Bo Burton, but I do think Randy and Rob Stone are at least better than they were a few years ago. However, with a lack of the crowd in the PBA events, I don't think that they can really try to save these events in terms of getting the crowd more enthusiastic if there's hardly anyone there. And I know that the live shows have more people there. And especially the Tournament of Champions. I know that the Tournament of Champions was a really good show, and especially the U.S. Open with the way it ended. That was absolutely shocking, but that was probably one of my favorite events to watch this past season, especially the Tournament of Champions as well. But I know that at the end of the season with the Dick Weber playoffs, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Vuvuzelas? Really? It just, they're kind of getting so desperate that it's almost getting to the point that it's as bad as back in 1998 through early 2000, I think it was, when they had everyone clapping at every single shot, throughout the entire show. So I honestly don't think the clapping was as bad as some people think it was, just because of the fact that at least it's better to have more noise compared to being completely silent and to have some sort of noise distract you. Because it seems like a lot of bowlers get distracted on TV, but I guess either way it kind of balances out either way. But either way, I made this video because I want to know what you guys think about what the PBA should do in the future, because I know that I definitely want to see them hopefully change up something so that it makes next year better, because the way it's going, I honestly don't see how the PBA is going to be able to get back on their feet the way this season went, especially with the lack of viewership from the live audience. I'm guessing that, I know that the PBA still does pretty good in terms of how many people view them on TV, but going back to live audiences, I think that that's a big factor. If no one's going to watch these events in person, that kind of signifies that no one seems to be watching these events anymore. It kind of balances out in a way, because I know that people, they have over 1 million viewers in terms of who watches the events every single week. So it's just my opinion that I think that they need bigger audiences to actually attract more viewers, get more people involved in the show, get more enthusiasm out of everyone, and not have to use vuvuzelas at the end of the season, because that's just ridiculous in my opinion. So I want to know what you guys think. So I know that I definitely want to see them change. I do not want to see the PBA go out, because I know that with a possible NFL lockout and a possible NBA lockout, that would make the PBA benefit big time, because I know that the NHL would probably benefit the most from this, since their season would be starting at the time that the NBA and NFL lockout would occur, because baseball, the World Series, will pretty much almost be done by then, by mid-October, and around that time is also when the PBA season would start up again. So if a lockout does happen, that would definitely be big for the PBA in terms of viewership. But I really think they need to change up a few things. They need to have more live events. I mean, I know that they were telling me that Patrick Allen actually told me at a Pro-Am back in '09 that they tape shows to save money, and I know that that's not bad, obviously, but at the same time, I mean, I thought that ESPN actually pays these shows, but I heard that somewhere that the PBA actually pays ESPN to put their show on their network, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, I heard that they're the only show that, only type of sport that actually does that, which is, it blows my mind how they can do that, because especially since they get so many viewers watching the show. And another thing is that I really think the PBA needs to go in HD more, because I thought that they were going to be in HD this whole season, and of course they only had it for the one event, which was the Tournament of Champions, and I really liked HD quality of the bowling. Like, I watched it on TV, and it was amazing how good it was in quality for HD, but if they're just going to have standard quality, and I heard that, like, they're one of the last shows that is not in HD yet on ESPN, which is pretty weird to think about. So, not only are they not in HD, but I mean, I'm not sure if they still pay ESPN to show all their programs, but it's just, it almost seems like as if ESPN wants to make every buck they can off the PBA, and the PBA has to suffer for it, especially the PBA fans like myself and everyone else on YouTube that watches my videos or any other video that was posted in terms of the PBA. So I know that in the future I definitely want to see some changes, and I know that a lot of other people I'm sure want to see changes as well. And I really feel sorry for the exempt bowlers that like want to make a living off the PBA, because I know that like they have really good potential. Like how many of them are unbelievable bowlers that I've seen on TV, but the way the PBA is going right now, I mean, there's not much money to be made anymore on taped events. I know that in the Tournament of Champions, that was obviously the biggest prize money pool ever, but the problem was that if you did bad in that event, you pretty much, that's tough luck, and you pretty much can't rebound from that unless you did really good in like a major tournament, because the rest of the other tournaments, like I heard it was $15,000 was top prize, which isn't bad, but obviously you're going to have to win several of those taped events to even have any sort of chance to really make a living off that. So all I know is that overall I think the PBA should definitely try to do some new things in terms of getting people involved in their show again, and hopefully, I mean, I'm not saying I want an NFL and NBA lockout to happen, but if it does happen, that's the time that they need to really sit back and figure out what they're going to need to do to get the most viewers in terms of what sport people will want to go to if the NFL and NBA lockout does happen. So I'd like to hear your opinion as to what you guys thought of this past season, and what the PBA can do in the future in order to hopefully attract more viewers. And hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all later.